this is my first time in a new float pod, and I guess there is like music you can turn on and lights that look like the stars. Okay, I guess this is how you know that your time is done, because the pink light will come back on. But I have about 6 minutes until my time starts. And also it feels really warm in there, which is super nice because sometimes you do get a bit chilly when you're floating. That was way more relaxing than a normal float, and I definitely probably fell asleep because when I became aware, I was 5 minutes past the time. I don't know what people in other countries do to celebrate graduates. My air conditioning is super loud, I think, but in the United States, or at least in the part of the United States I live in, we have what we call open houses. I think in other parts of the country they call them grad parties. It's basically where the family of the person who has graduated gets loads of food. Usually there's like outdoor like yard games and things like that. Sometimes there's a food truck or something extreme like snow cones or whatever. And sometimes it's just food. So anyway, I am going to my coworker's daughter's. Her name is Sadie. And she is having it at this place called Michelinda Lodge, which I hope is super cool and outdoorsy. I'm not really sure. And one of their friends is making all the food, so it's being catered by like her friend who like is apparently amazing. I think there's pasta. I'm not sure if there is pasta. I think she makes it all completely herself, like including the pasta. Not sure. I guess for the daughter that's 1 year older, they did brunch and there was all these brunch sort of things. So we will see what it entails. But after I get done with that and I get home, I will chat about one of the books I finished and what I'm currently reading. Hey guys, I just got home. My cats are going mad just because I've been gone for a few days. So I'll make this quick, but I wanted to talk about the book I just finished, my first book of summer, and that is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. So I started this a few times, but I think the thing that got me over the hump and got me not distracted by all the other books I want to read is just the fact that I recently went to 6th grade camp. This book takes place at a camp, and so I brought it with me thinking it would be the perfect book to read, and it totally was, although I think I only read the first 1 or 2 chapters at camp just because I was so busy with other things. But anyway, the book tells the story of this woman who basically, when she was at camp as a kid, the 3 other campers that she bunked with ended up going missing and basically had never been found. And as an adult, she's an artist. She's doing an art show or whatever, and this lady comes and ends up that she is basically like the I don't know, like the organizer, the owner of the camp that this woman went to as a kid. Her name is Franny. She invites this girl to come back as a counselor now that she's an adult. Not necessarily a counselor per se, actually, but an instructor. She wants her to teach art lessons to the kids while they're at camp. She basically plans to reopen the camp. It's been closed ever since this incident happened involving the disappearance of these 3 girls, and she wants to open it. So that is essentially what the story is about. You know things are not going to go well. I mean, it's a thriller, so you kind of know that going in. I will say the things I didn't like about it. First of all, I feel like it wasn't the best written, but it's a thriller, so what do you expect? But anyway, the other thing is it just completely did not make any sense, which I feel like, you know, maybe you don't care about with a thriller, and maybe the author didn't care about with a thriller, because thriller and if it makes sense or not is not the main point. But like, first of all, so the main character of the story all of a sudden goes back to camp as an adult to be the instructor, right? She arrives like on the same day that the kids have arrived. In fact, the kids are already there when she arrives, and like, that's just not logical. Typically, when you get hired at a camp, there's like a training period, and you definitely are there when the kids arrive because they need your support to get them all checked in. Regardless of what your role is at camp, you usually, you know, help with getting kids organized and moved into their cabins. It's kind of an all hands on deck situation. And if you ever in your life have worked at a camp, or if you have any sense of organization of other events like teaching or conferences or anything, you will know that this just does not make sense. And it kind of drove me mad, but I guess you just ignore it. And then the other thing is when the main character moves in, when Emma moves in, there ends up not being enough room for the counselors. And so all the counselors, instead of having an adult cabin, they have to be with the kids. And so apparently they just reorganize all the kids once Emma gets there, because she has a specific request on what cabin she wants. And that also just doesn't make sense, because like, how is there just like an extra like spot in a cab? Like, this just whole thing doesn't make sense. In addition, she's a grown person and she's responsible for being in the same cabin as children, which also doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I just feel like because she wasn't a counselor, that's why it doesn't make sense. And also, I feel like, I don't know how camps work, but I feel like there should be 2 adults with kids so that adult is never alone with strange children that are not their own, because you can get accused of stuff. And I just feel like there's a lot of common sense that was missing from this book. But as a thriller, if you take all that away, it was really good and I did enjoy it, and it's a good summer read. Yeah, it was pretty fast read because you just want to know what the heck is going to happen and all that sort of stuff. So as a thriller, it was good, but you have to not expect anything super crazy. There is a huge bug of some sort on my wall that I'm going to go take care of. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you later.